Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian beaches on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. I'm joined by Lori Tipitot. Yeah? Did I say it right? Woo! Yay. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can join too if you like. Oh, wait, did I go live already? Oh, I got to do that. There we go. Now, it's funny. Sometimes I do it. Sometimes I don't do it, and I think I'm on live, and then I'm not. It's so fun. Oh, I have this today. I have rosemary verbenon hydrosol. Yeah. Right. Verbenon is just a certain chemotype of rosemary. It's a little bit more gentle than the standard. Yeah. And it's hydrosol. That's what's left over after they steam distill essential oil. So it's like water, but it's lightly scented. So you just spray it on, and it's in the summertime. It's like,
refreshing.
Yes. And bugs don't particularly like rosemary. So we'll see what happens.
Eyes are going across your face.
Which you love. Which you love. Okay, so I have a question already.
Oh shit, that's my dad.
That's all. Okay. It was in, oh yeah, I know where I put it. I put it on a note here. Okay. So, hi Hope, I am often listening to your YouTube videos and they help me so much. Yay, I'm so stoked. Nevertheless, I would love if you could give me some hints about a recurring story I seem to encounter. I fall in love with men who are not available and deeply unhappy, married, old girlfriend who is still around even if the relationship is not good, etc. It always starts with a lot of hopes and promises and good times and gets sour from there. It remains with me a lot of the story I had with my mother as a child, struggling to get her attention, having to be good to earn her love, etc. And with my father who died when I was 10 and I felt somehow I could not save him from dying from cancer. But even though I see that, I do not seem to get out of it. At the moment, I am in the same situation again with a man who is unhappy in his life, uses me to uplift himself, but does not want a relationship. And I fall in the whole story of not being loved, not good enough. If I would be different, somebody would love me, etc. I see the game so clearly, and at the same time, I am suffering. Can you give me some hints where to go and look? I know that I am not the body, and I make it all up, but still, I would appreciate it very much. Love you much. Okay, so any habit, this is a habit, okay? It's stories that you've been telling yourself. That's what manifests these kinds of relationships. All of your relationships, even myself included, like my relationships, they're all a manifestation of who I take myself to be. See, and it's in this dream world, that's how it is. So, in the moment where you feel like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? Look at what wants to get out of it. What wants to get out of it doesn't really want to learn from it. It doesn't really want to learn from it. It wants the story of, how do I get out of this? It wants that energy of, oh my gosh, how do I get with the right person? How do I improve? How do I get with the right person? The key is to be completely and fully in it. Completely and fully in it. If you know that it's just a story, that's great. That's a first start. Is you know that it's just a story, okay? So the whole relationship is projecting out of your body's energy field. Whole relationship is a projection of that. That's what it really comes down to. That's where the integration happens. That's where the integration of the teachings that you're not a body happens. See? Because this upset feeling that you get when you're looking at a person and going, why am I attracting this again? Why do I have a man who is unhappy again? You know, that's exactly where the gift is, because it's coming, that is coming from a feeling. That projection is coming from a feeling. So it's like you turn your attention from the exterior circumstances, with the understanding nothing happens. That's very helpful. Nothing's happening. Nothing is happening. This idea of having a relationship with an individual, it's a hallucination. It's only a hallucination. So within that hallucination, you turn your attention back to where the projection comes from, which is the body's energy field. Okay, that's a first manifestation. Let's put it that way. Your first manifestation in the dream is your body's energy field. That's a feeling. You can even say it's a sound, even deeper than that. It's a resonance. It's a resonance. So you get that feeling. And see, gratitude plays such a big role here, because what it is projecting. There's all kinds of projecting going on. And that's what makes it seem like you're stuck in some kind of pattern with some particular type of guy, because it's projecting. So as the mind's projecting, it's as if this person and these persons are separate, and they're being this certain way with you separate. But that's not them being a certain way with you. That's the way you are with you. That's the way you are with you. And let me say this, you are not flawed. That's very important. Nothing's wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You just made a mistake. You made a mistake. It was a little mistake, but then it turned into a big mistake because you didn't realize it was a mistake. Basically, you forgot to laugh about it. Okay? You just made a mistake in your identity, in who you thought you were. Okay? And then you carried that forth and forth and forth. So it's a matter of going back to the feeling effect of thinking you're someone that you're not. So your attention turns back to the body's energy field. How does this feel? How does this feel? And you really have to get this for yourself, because it's not a concept that I can just give to you, like write down and go, okay, here, now do this. You really have to get this energy for yourself. But it's sort of like turning the focus of your attention or your awareness from external circumstances to what caused it, to the energy in the body's energy field. Where does this come from? From where does this arise? And it may even be helpful to say, who is this occurring to? Who is this occurring to? This thought, and it's only a thought, doesn't mean anything, that says, how come I keep on attracting this kind of guy? Look it, you're not attracting anything. Forget about that, okay? That's like some real elementary kind of spiritual teachings where you can attract things. There's no world. There's no space. There's no space like that. Space is an illusion. Time is an illusion. You're not really attracting anything. Everything is born out of your consciousness. Everything is being born like that. So by thinking over and over and buying into over and over that you do attract, that there's men out there for you to meet, so men out there for you to meet, then they keep on coming to you in the same way, because that's what you're used to. It changes everything when you're able to look on the illusion of these different men apparently coming into your experience, and with willingness to recognize, I'm making this up. I'm making this up. There's no one there. There's no one there. It's all me. I'm relating with myself. So it's almost like you're holding your own hand, guiding yourself home. And you can even say, with their help, because they are you coming in a form that's showing you the effect of believing that you're something that you're not. That's the effect of believing you're something that you're not. That's all. They love you so much. They love you so much. And look, you're not seeing them clearly. They're not seeing you clearly either, but that doesn't matter. That's for them to work out. That's for them to work out in their own consciousness. For you, recognize that you're not seeing them clearly. If you don't see them as pure love, as your savior, as your brother in consciousness, so to speak. And remember, no words that I say are true. You have to take this to your inner teacher and see what I mean for yourself. See what I mean for yourself, okay? So So for me, when I get the perception that someone is doing it wrong, or I'm not getting what I deserve, I should have better than this, I should really have better than this, I recognize that that's self-talk. And my attention turns right back into the feeling of this isn't good enough. It's just that it's just a demonstration of the thought, I'm not good enough. That's all. That doesn't mean I'm not good enough. I'm not flawed. There's nothing wrong with me. But there's a mistaken self-belief that makes it appear in my mind. Nothing can manifest outside. And this is what's manifesting is projected outside of the mind. Nothing can manifest outside of the mind without having been seen within first. Okay? So if I saw myself as not being good enough, then that's the reflection I'm going to get. What's my response to that? Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. And how are you letting me know? I have a reaction to it in my body's energy field. And that's what I'm thanking you for helping me to bring that up so we can see it. So I can see it. And when I get the feeling effect of it, here's what it's like. I can maybe share with you what it's like. When I get the feeling effect of that, I could tell it's very painful, and almost like that painful feeling kind of shifts, it's always changing. It's always moving and changing. So it shifts and it shifts into something else. And a lot of the times the sensation that comes is almost like it bubbles up and comes out through the top. And that's the experience. That's the healing. That's the healing, because now I don't see that person as separate anymore, and things transform. Basically, a new experience is wanting to be birthed through you. It's like a new experience is coming through, and that's why there's the pain and upset and the wishing it was different and all of that, because it is trying to come through in a different way, but the resistance stops it. The resistance keeps it looking like the same thing keeps on happening over and over again, even though it's always changeful. The same thing isn't really happening over and over again. It's always changing, but it's changing with the self-belief. However, it's evolving. However, that self-belief is evolving. So if you get out of one shitty relationship and think that, oh, thank goodness that guy was not good enough for me, now I'm free. Now I'm free. You still take him to be separate. The next thing you know, you're all excited, feeling like you're all in love and everything. And then the next thing you know, the same kind of scenario plays out again. And it's because it's playing out from within your own body's energy field. It's really coming from the mind. But in the realm of illusion, the very first manifestation is feeling. That's the very first manifestation. Everything that you can perceive in the outer world comes from that feeling. So when you go back to that and get that effect without resisting it or trying to change it, it changes all on its own. And what prevents most people from just stopping trying to make it different on your own, or trying to judge yourself or something, is fear that they won't get it right, that things won't manifest for them unless they get their hands in it, unless they interfere with the process. And here's the thing, your interfering with the process is basically lack of trust. And with that lack of trust, that's also a feeling. It's a feeling of pressure as an individual, like you're responsible for your own life. And look how common that is. People have the belief that they're responsible for their own life. Like if they don't get involved in what's going on, then nothing's going to manifest the way they want. But let me tell you, what you want is already known before you even know what you want. It's already known, and it's already working out. It's already going in that direction. It's already going in that direction. You can have the most loving, blessed, caring, gentle, happy, joyful relationship, even in the outer world, if you will allow it. It's already known that that's how you want it. It's already known. So it's a matter of allowing it. And that goes for everything. That goes for your health. That goes for finances. That goes for everything. Just step off. Just step off. Everything is coming. The life is just Life is just coming like that. There's nothing for you to do. And in fact, there's nothing you're capable of doing. There's nothing you're capable of doing in the world. That is an illusion that you're capable of doing anything. Okay? And when you get on that illusion as if you're that individual doing, that individual that you perceive doing, it kind of mucks it all up for you. It makes it all confusing. Then you're not simply enjoying, floating, almost like floating through time and space. See? Which can be your experience. If you'll have it. If you're willing. So hooray. Hooray for happy, joyful, fruitful, healing relationships.
You said a couple of times, a half an hour ago, I posted this, and you said it. I don't know how many times. Look at.
Okay, hold on a second.
Oh, it's backwards?
No. I'm gonna pin this video so I can see it big. Just know that there is nothing wrong with you. Do not believe that thought when it comes up. Very nice. Yeah, that's very important.
You said that so many times in the first, what is it, half an hour of this webinar.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Well, our minds are not separate.
Obviously. In the last few weeks, we've had the sister thing, there was something else, and now
Yes, lots of synchronicities.
lots.
It's very fun. I'm super happy to be joined with you. Thank you, Lori.
Ditto. So I posted that thing that you put today about the day the child learns that food has an effect on their body.
Yes.
Is the day that they get the message that eating is not an innocent activity.
Yay.
I got a reply from someone who
Yes.
said, but food does, capital does,
Yes.
have effect on their body. The stories about what their body should or shouldn't look like are the cause of problems / loss of innocence arising of shame attached to eating. I said, it's the other way around, Rob. We are all innocent until we learn that we can make choices that are bad or good in the world. This causes guilt and the seeming effects show up on the body, which isn't real as the world isn't. But we are all still innocent as that guilty consciousness was not chosen in the first place.
Yes.
So then I copied and pasted what you had put under another thing that said, and I put, this is how hope explains it. That innocence has been lost is the message of the world, but innocence is never really lost because of our shared innocence, everyone is only capable of loving and being loved. When a child learns that they are capable of making worldly choices, it fosters guilty feelings along with a sense of vulnerability to the effects of those choices. There are truly no worldly choices that can be made by anyone, only an illusion of choice. When the illusion of choice is recognized as only an illusion, innocence is immediately restored.
Yes.
So then he said, we are all innocent until we learn that we can make choices that are bad and good. And that is the root of guilt / shame. But that does not mean that the effects on the body are necessarily caused by that and not by what is being ingested and what quantities. There are many cases of children who do not have any belief in good, bad, or shame around food, and yet they continue to consume terrible, high-processed food, and they gain an immense amount of weight and are very unhealthy. The reality or unreality of the material world does not negate the ways in which the seeming things within it operate. Within the interconnected relationships of duality, cause and effect seem to play out.
Yes, they seem to play out exactly. So the way the illusion is set up, it's set up to prove that cause and effect are real. I mean, that's the way it is. It is set up to prove that cause and effect are real. So this is what, if you're having that same kind of question like that, this is what might help you to see beyond what the illusion's trying to reveal to you here, trying to prove to you. Look, when you go to sleep at night, right, and you have a dream, notice how there's also cause and effect in the dream, in a nighttime dream. Like, notice how there's cause and effect occurring in the nighttime dream. Okay, so it seems like when you're in that nighttime dream that the cause and effect are also true, right? And then when you wake up, you realize that both the cause and effect were caused by dreaming. See, the cause is the same thing in this waking dream. Both the cause and effect that you perceive in the dream are caused by dreaming. That they're both effects. They're both equally, cause and effects are equally effects of the mind. And no one's making a choice. That's what's so important. That's what's so important. Because when you take it as if cause and effect are really real, then that's when the pressure comes on you to make the right choices. And by having the pressure to make the right choices, there's always going to be perceivably wrong choices being made because it's set up to make you look guilty. Okay? So I know that's really, what's that, Lori? Tell me, baby.
Which in turn makes the body seem real.
That's right. And sick.
Yes. And the world seem real.
Yes. And yeah, real and sick. That's right.
And that's why you say don't trust the evidence.
That's why I say that. Don't trust the evidence because, if you're looking to worldly effects, and cause and effect are both worldly effects because they're effects of the mind. If you're looking to worldly effects that tell you what's true, you're going to be fooled. And you know what? You're going to be so committed to your perception that you won't even be able to hear the truth. You can't even hear it, because it's like, okay, here's another one. Guess what, you guys? This is really interesting. There's no such thing as aging and there's no such thing as death. Okay? If you believe your perception, what I'm saying sounds insane because you see this going on all around you. You see aging and death going on all around. Everyone that you saw them maybe, 5-10 years ago, and unless something extraordinary happened, they seem like they've aged and they're moving toward death. Yeah. So that's how it's meant to look. And see, that cannot go on. That cannot go on without our belief in it. And it can't even go on without our belief in it. So it's this re-believing in the same thing over and over again that makes it perpetuate. So it's not like we've projected ourselves into this world to just be committed to whatever perceptions that we perceive. It's like the perceptions are for undoing the thought that caused them in the first place. That's what they're for. So it's up to us, and that's our healing function, to look upon it, get the feeling effect of it. Like maybe I noticed one time some years ago, I saw on a TV a face of a woman, and she looked like, I don't know what age she was, but she looked like she was aging. And the thought occurred to me, oh God, aging sucks. And immediately when that thought occurred to me, I knew what it was for. So my attention goes into my body's energy field and lets that be felt. Instead of believing that aging is inevitable, which it appears that it is. Yes, I agree. And instead of believing that it's inevitable, my attention goes back to my body's energy field to get the feeling effect of it. And instead of being in allegiance to what I'm perceiving, I stay in allegiance to what's really true, that we're making this up and we can make another choice. And it's like, as more and more of us recognize that we are making this up and we can make another choice, we're going to start seeing things different. And you know what? Together at one point, we're going to just be so surprised. Because, we can't even talk about what the real world is here. We really can't talk about what it is. We could talk about what it's not. Definitely doesn't include any kind of effects
Guilt.
from eating or guilt. Well, yeah, that's the main one. It's because once the mind is free of guilt, of the thought of guilt, once the mind is free of the thought of guilt, all the extrapolations of that vanish. And, you know, we will laugh so hard and we will be so surprised at what we threw away because we thought we were guilty. You know, the world that we threw away that we thought that because we thought we were guilty, that hasn't gone anywhere. And in fact, we're still there. We only thought we threw it away. So, you know, we've gone on this millions of years journey thinking that we threw something precious away and feeling really guilty for it and making up all these scenarios and keep on passing them down and making them all different kinds of things. Look at how food is now. It's so funny. It's like people have all these food hang-ups and there's all these different kinds of diets that you can get on and stuff. and they're all so different. And now and look at the perception that our food supply is being poisoned by
Monsanto.
That for fun.
Yeah.
That's just extrapolating it more. And it's as if we're victims. It's as if we're victims to these big companies like Monsanto and stuff like that, and we have to do something about it. We're going to vote with our dollars to make sure that these guys go down and we only support organic farming. You know what? That stuff's going to happen naturally. It's a natural thing. You can't take any responsibility for it. You can't take any credit for it. You know, if you do that, you're just perpetuating illusions. And look, if you try to be sustainable, and I've seen this a bunch of times, it's really fun. If you try to be sustainable because you think that's the right thing to do, that's buying into the ego's game. It's one thing if you're living for sustainably, that's what you perceive, that you're living sustainably. But if you take responsibility for that, as if you did that, and you think that other people should be doing it too, that's where you give credit to the ego. And every time you give credit to the ego, you're extending time. And actually, any amount of sustainability that you perceive is attracting its opposite. So that's not what you want. That's not what you're looking for. That's how illusions are, though. It's so funny. You know, no matter how much good you think you've done in the world, if you think you've done it, you think it was you, as if you think you made a conscious choice, you know, to do that, then bless you, my love. Then it's attracting its opposite. It's going to bring back the exact opposite. So sustainability leads to unsustainability. Okay, and so that's what I mean by the world is an illusion. Step off of trying to make the world better so you can focus on escaping it. Focus on escaping it. And when you focus on escaping the world automatically gets better, because as you're focusing like that and eliminating guilt in the mind, there's less guilt to be projected into the world. That's the thing. It's so backwards, and that's why it's hard for people to get this. And that's why we have wisdom dialogue, so we can keep on being reminded again and again and again. It's like, hey, step off of that ego thing. Get back to what's making the world. Go back to what's making the world. And the worldly manifestations, they'll take care of themselves, since they're only a reflection of what you're holding in the mind, okay? There's all kinds of good intentions. Okay, you've probably heard, it's very common saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You probably have heard that before. Yep. It doesn't stand more true. I mean, that's exactly how it is. And you know, healing doesn't happen from good intentions. Healing happens from willingness right now to see what's making this world. To whom is this world occurring? And where is my dominion? How do I have dominion over this? See, if you're just a little person and you think you need to join with other bodies to save the world, then you're making it as if the world is real. And if you make the world of guilt real, then you're going to see more and more guilty manifestations. And those include sickness. Those include any kind of conflict. Those include poverty. You know, all poverty is spiritual poverty. The idea that things cost you something. How about that one? Something cost you something? Really? Really? Money isn't real, though. So who is it costing? It's one thing to make a payment, apparently make a payment for something, but to think that it costs me something, to think that I have less because that's not how it works unless you say so.
Right. The I isn't even.
Yeah. Excuse me while I spray some of our lovely rosemary hydrosol to cool off and also encourage the flies to fly away.
Yeah, it all.
Do you like them? I have a friend here.
Oh,
I have a friend visiting with me today.
it's not Molly.
No, her name is Anne. She's not interested in joining like that. She just likes to hang out with me. I like to hang out with her too. Smells good, huh? Yeah. So yeah, nothing costs you anything. Sit with that one. Sit with that one. Have you ever had
as my trailer, our fifth wheel? You know all the problems we had with it last year, the so-called problems.
Okay.
Thing after another. Well, we finally went camping in it on Memorial Weekend, and then had a great time. And now it's been sitting in our driveway, and now we've got a huge leak in it. I was like, it's like the rug, the floor. Then I go to do a firm on somebody, and I was walking into their place, and I had my flip flops on, and it was raining, and I hit the curb. There's a piece of granite that I stepped on to avoid a puddle, and my foot came out from under me, and down I went. My freaking leg. I had white pants on. The blood was.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, wow.
Good thing there's no problems.
Yeah. No. I was up one minute, down the next. This happened 4 months ago too, February, in the winter on the ice. But this was I can't believe it. Anyway. Nothing's broken.
Yeah.
Just scraped up aches.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And so how did that play out for you in your mind?
Well, it was like, as I was laying there in this puddle covered with dirt and the blood, and I was feeling pain, I was like, really?
And you're laughing.
I was like, really?
Yeah.
I'm here on the ground. This is the second time in 4 months.
Uh-huh.
What the hell? And then I just went on and did. And I saw when I was doing the perm, I was only when she mentioned it did I feel the scrape, the burning on all the scrapes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. But when we weren't discussing it, when we were talking and laughing or whatever, I've never even felt any of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you have to be thinking about it.
In order for it to be pain. Right.
That's right. And in order for it to be perceived as pain. And look, all pain is fear. All pain is fear. That's what I learned in childbirth. I took hypno babies 11 years ago when I gave birth with my 11-year-old boy, Braun. And that's what I learned. And, when I heard that, I was really resonated with that. It was my first time hearing it. It's like, all pain is fear. Okay, all pain is fear. So that means you can have a painless childbirth, Hope. Really? I didn't know that. You can have because pain is fear. So it's like you go through that sensation of pain, recognizing that it is caused by fear. And, fear is basically fear of punishment because you thought that you were guilty from separating yourself from reality. So in recognizing that those sensations are really neutral, they're being interpreted in a way that makes them feel painful. So any kind of stinging or anything like that, when you go all the way down into it and you're not thinking about it in a guilty fashion with a guilty mind, it's not painful at all. There's no pain.
Hmm. When I went for a walk tonight with my girlfriend, and I had a little bit of, there was some pain when I was walking.
Yeah.
And now, like around my ankle, or my front, the shin low, feels when I pull my foot back, there is pain. So that's guilt.
Yes. It's rooted in guilt. Yes. It's rooted in guilt. So basically the way that's approached, the way that's addressed and undone, the way guilty consciousness is undone through that pain is just in recognizing over and over again, because the thought keeps on occurring to you that you have pain because of this scrape. You do not have pain because of the scrape. There's no scrape, there's no body. There's no body to be scraped. That is not what's causing it. So it's in willingness to recognize over and over again that the pain and the appearance of the scrape and everything is an effect of a guilty mind. It's an effect of guilty consciousness. And this is what's important when looking at something like this, is to recognize that it needs to be undone in gentleness. It can only be undone in gentleness. So it's not like, damn it, what the hell? Why is this happening? It's in gentleness, with gratitude for the appearance of pain. With gratitude, thanking for the appearance of pain. Yeah.
Show me.
Yes. The show me energy. Show me, when you're willing to see where is this pain really coming from, because there's only one problem. There's only one thing that can cause pain. And it's one, what A Course in Miracles calls a tiny mad thought. The tiny mad thought extrapolated in all these different forms that makes it seem like there's all these different problems all over the place, all these different causes for pain.
The one mad thought of separation.
Yes, that's right. It's like, and when it first started out, it's just that it was taken seriously. So it's like when we stop taking these manifestations seriously, like, oh my gosh, there's something I need to do about this. Why am I falling again?
Yeah.
That kind of energy. That's not gentle. That's not gratitude.
No.
What's wrong with me that I need to fix? So I can stop falling.
Is exactly right.
Yeah. Do you see that energy popping up?
Why? Right.
Yeah, wanting you to feel like, well, and calculating. Wait a minute, this just happened to me this long ago, and now it's happening to me again. Well, nothing's happening. It's just that you get excited about it and you identify with it.
Yes, there's a me attached to having this happen to me twice in 4 months, and all the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no gratitude for it. That's when you get out of gratitude. And that's so big, to be thankful for whatever it is that you're perceiving, because what you're perceiving has a healing gift in it for you. And you have a healing function. You have a healing function. And that's to see through the illusion of this guilty thought. You laugh in laughter. In laughter. So what is this from Lori? You sent that to me?
No.
You sent me. Is this someone else? Oh, there's another Lori on. Oh, how fun. I thought that's funny, because at first I thought that was you as an attendee, and I was like, oh, maybe she doesn't want to be a panelist today. Does thought exist without word language? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, definitely. Yes, that's for sure. That's for sure. But, before the world is ever projected into existence, okay, and it's not really projected into existence, that's really not the way to say it. So I'm going to say it another way. Before the world is projected outside of the mind, because this world can't even be contained in the mind. The mind can't contain any guilt. It's projected outside of the mind onto what you can say a screen of consciousness. Consciousness is also a projection that won't last. In order to have word and language, you have to have consciousness, okay? So before consciousness, there's this thought that there's a separation, and the thought of separation is what made consciousness manifest in the first place. Consciousness is is the manifestation prior to the world. First there's consciousness, and then there's the world, and then there's language. So now that we have words and language, most of what we think is in words. It's in words, which convolutes it a lot more, because that talking that seems to be going on, that words talking all the time, people think it's them. That's not you. What's talking? Not you. It's thoughts kind of like passing like wind. And if they're grabbed onto, then they lead to confusion. So at this point in time, most of humanity is heavily confused because of taking those thoughts as if they're meaningful, as if they speak something about themselves. So, you know, the way I can tell if a thought speaks the truth or untruth. And look at, there's two guides in the mind. There's the guide that's the ego, and there's the guide that you could say is your spirit. There's two guides. And thoughts are coming from one guide or the other all the time. It's only from one guide or the other. And look, this is the only choice you have, is which guide to follow. There are no choices in the world. There are no choices amongst many things. There's only a choice between two things. There's only a choice between two things, truth and illusion. So thoughts that occur to you are formed out of, again, your body's energy field. They're formed out of a feeling. So you can tell which one they came from by the feeling they produce. You know, the feeling that's triggered. The feeling, you know, it's like there's a feeling, and then there's a thought. And the feeling does come first. Even if you're not aware of it, feeling does come first, because all thought comes from a feeling, all thought that you can perceive, okay? Thought that's before perception is really, you know, what you would consider belief. So it's the past, okay? The thought that makes the feeling manifest in the first place is past thought. The thought that's occurring to you right now is produced by feeling. So the thought that's occurring to you right now, that's where you have a choice. You don't have a choice in what's gone before. You don't have a choice in the past, right? But the choice from the past is producing a feeling in your body's energy field, which is producing a thought projection. So that thought projection is where you have a choice. And that's the only choice you have, because the world is really a distraction. It's either a distraction for you, or it has a healing function for you. And whether you go with distraction or healing function depends on which guide you're using. So say the thought occurs to you, you see a scraped knee on you and it stings or something like that. And the thought occurs to you, oh my goodness, this is the second time this happened. Notice, there's no past. The first time that it happened to you is also projected from right now. It's also a projection of your mind in this moment. It didn't happen before. Never happened before. So that's just a projection right now. And that's just to make you feel like something's wrong. Nothing's wrong. You thought something was wrong. You were mistaken. You thought you separated from eternity. You're mistaken. That's all. Nothing's ever gone wrong. And you know what? That's the only mistake you've ever made. And that's the only mistake you keep on making again and again when you believe in illusions. You just make that same mistake again and again, extrapolate it out again, extend time, extend this time-space illusion, extend the march toward death, and birth and death again, and birth again, and death again. You know, I've heard people say, but it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. No, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. Okay. What you perceive is a dark world compared to what you're deserving of and what's your true inheritance. This is darkness that you perceive. You want it to be beautiful. You want it to be beautiful because you're beautiful and you're deserving of beauty. You want it to be beautiful. And any beauty that you perceive in this world is a reflection of who you are. It's not coming from the world at all. You bring your joy to it. Look, I live in Hawaii. You could say it's one of the most beautiful places on the face of the planet. You know, I see these gorgeous, epic skies all the time, you know. But I know that that is my light that I'm perceiving whenever I perceive beauty. And in the perception of beauty, I might see some trash in it. I might see some trash in it, right? That's the way it is. You can see all this beauty in the world, then you see that then you see this other thing that makes you go, ooh, or you hear of someone getting murdered or something like that in it. Look at, in reality, there's no opposite to beauty. There's not even the word beauty, because there's not an opposite to it. There's not an opposite for beauty. Everywhere you look, it's all you. There's not anything that denies who you are. In this world, you can see a demonstration of who you are in certain parts of it. It's still very convoluted. It's still very dim compared to reality. Very dim. No matter how beautiful it looks to you, it's very dim compared to reality. You know, so you see, let's say you see a shadow of who you are. You see a shadow of who you are, and you call that beauty. Okay. And then you see what you see the extrapolation of the thoughts that say who you are definitely not. And that's the opposite of it. See, in this world, we have beauty and the opposite of beauty. In reality, there's no opposites. It's only you. It's like it's only created, your creations, and there's no creations here, there's only making stuff up. Your creations are like you, which is only beautiful with nothing else. Is there some kind of storage from where it's projected? Storage, huh? Well, you could say that it's the past playing out. You could say that's storage, because it's believing in the past that makes it play out some more. So believing that there was a past to make it play out some more. Like the whole projection of the world is in believing that we did separate, like taking it as if you did separate yourself from reality. And that's kind of like baggage, because then it makes the past real. Like before this moment, I separated myself from reality. So now in this moment, I deserve punishment. And because of thinking that you deserve punishment, you project a whole world where punishment ensues. No matter how beautiful you make it out to be, punishment is apparently coming according to the rules of the world until you change your mind. And then there's no more punishment. And every instance of perceived punishment, pain, death, sickness, is an opportunity to undo the cause of it and escape from it. And in doing so, you help everyone else too. So thank you.
So things like the trailer getting wet and watching a dog get run over and killed the other day.
Okay.
Part of the guilt that needs to be undone.
That would be the function of that. The function of that is for you to undo the guilty consciousness. So when you see that, when you have the perception of the dog or the trailer or something like that, there's a feeling arising with that.
That fear, yes.
Yeah. And that's where it gets undone. And that's where, you know, where laughter wasn't, laughter can come in. When you recognize that is for you to be yourself, to finally be yourself now. It's the same for me. I mean, when I just hear you say a dog get run over, where do I hear that from? Who hears it? Where do I hear that from? I cannot hear you say a dog got run over without it being my own projection. So the feeling, there's a feeling effect. You know, for me, it's constantly going back in with the body's energy field. It's constantly looking back to the body's energy field and letting it be felt, letting it just be felt like that. In recognizing, you know, more and more that it is coming from me and it is for healing the cause of this separate world. so we can all reclaim our inheritance in eternity.
Mm. Watching that dog and the hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had to put it down because it was biting. It bit somebody in the face.
Oh, yeah.
20 stitches. Yeah, all of that. And then it was on Facebook, and everybody was blaming. Oh my God. It was.
Well, you can't really blame him for blaming.
No.
I mean, it's just like a scared child. That's why the blame comes up, because the feeling is intense. I'm looking at Anne right here, and she's demonstrating how that intense that kind of feeling is for me. And the feeling of it is really intense, and then it's like there's this rush to get rid of it.
Right.
So it seems like you're getting rid of, and you're making yourself feel better by some kind of blame.
Right.
Who done it? Who done it? And that's why we have prisons. Still have
drove away.
What's that?
How dare he drove away, the guy that ran over the dog.
And he can't help that. That's a thing.
And same with the owner who didn't have the dog tied up.
Yeah, everyone's getting blamed, and that keeps the awareness from having the experience that I'm making this up. Whatever I'm perceiving, I'm making up. So if I blame someone else, then it's like I escape. It's like I escape my own feeling of guilt. But I don't. I just exacerbate it. I just make more manifestations in the world. I make more scapegoats for my guilt, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be seeing more and more tragedy and feeling more and more pain because I want to blame. Mm-hmm. Remember when I told you the story some years ago, like when I was at my place over on Hinalo Street, having a silent day, walking down the street, and then all of a sudden, this little dog comes behind me and bites me in the ankle, and I'm bleeding walking down the street. The first thing that occurs to me is a projection of the owner for not having the dog, and immediately I'm like, oh no, I'm silent, so I'm not talking out loud. But I'm going, oh no, I know what that is. I know that's the ego. I'm making this up. I made that dog. And that feeling of shame, it ends up being felt by me. I get the feeling effect of it. And I get the joy out of seeing it just evaporate right in my body's energy field. And then there's nothing for the owner. There's no shame for the owner or anything like that.
So that's the first thing that happened with me. I said, that owner should have had that dog tied up. It's not the guy's fault who ran over it. And then I went, oh, I thought of you immediately. Like, oh my God, look at
there
that.
It is.
And I said it right out loud to Peter. I'm like, oh, look at that blame. Immediately.
It's like, I don't want to feel like this, so who's responsible?
Yeah.
I don't want, but you really do want to feel like that. You really do want to feel like that. That's how you blow off that shame that you feel. That guilty feeling. It's like to project it somewhere else. Make them a scapegoat.
Right.
It's like you make the whole scenario up of the dog getting run over just so that you can project that. See? It's just so that you can project that. It's either you make it up so that you can project it more and make someone into a scapegoat, or you make it up so that you can perform your healing function. That's the choice you're making. I keep on saying it a lot of different ways, the choice between these two things, but it really comes down to a choice between two things only. See? There's a lot of different words I use to say what these two things are, just to help you kind of get it for yourself.
Right.
Recognize it for yourself and recognize there's not a bunch of choices to be made in the world. And you know what? You don't even have any choice over what thoughts occur to you because you're not a thinker. You're not a
But,
thinker.
but there was a choice. I mean, as soon as I saw the blame, I was like, oh, look at
That's where you made a choice.
that.
Yes, that's right. So see, it could be tricky for people, like they think that they shouldn't be thinking that,
Uh,
right?
well, I know that I'm not thinking I mean, they're
Yeah,
coming. They're coming. I have no control
yeah,
over them
yeah.
coming.
Yep. You just have a choice in what you make of them.
Exactly.
And so when you make the healing choice, you get a healing. Make a healing choice, you command a miracle.
Mm.
You command a miracle for yourself. You command a miracle for everyone.
That's the best.
Yes.
Everyone. Mm.
Yes. And then even the dog's rejoicing about that. Even the dog, and his little dog voice is like, fuck yeah, Lori.
He was put down. He couldn't. It was too bad. It was.
Yeah, it's really, and see, the thing is that makes you feel like it's bad. That what makes you feel like it's bad is also that shame. Nothing bad happens here. Nothing bad happens here. That's our perception. It looks insane because it is. It looks insane.
Well, yeah, when the dog's, he's trying to get to the side of the road with his back broken. Oh.
Well, imagine what it's like for someone who goes to war.
Yeah.
Imagine what it's like walking around a battlefield with people all blown up like that.
Yeah.
It's like even in that kind of circumstance, you can use, if you find yourself in any kind of circumstance like that, you can use that circumstance to serve your healing function. It doesn't mean you deny that feeling that you get when you see it. It's like, oh, I mean, I know what you mean. I've had experiences like that too, where I've seen something that's like, just the memory of it reverberating is like, like that. But, even in a memory, even in the form of a memory, even in the form of hearing someone else say it, talk about it, there's a feeling effect there where you can get that feeling effect and actually come to laughter about it because it never happened. It never happened. It only happened for that purpose. And it never happened. And what people get really afraid of with allowing and even saying, hey, you can come to laughter about these insane manifestations that seem to be occurring in the world. People get afraid about is that's going to make it happen more. But you know what? The opposite is true.
Right,
opposite, it's true. It's you're getting excited about it and making it so real that makes it happen again and again and again. Also, it's like if you think that these things shouldn't be happening, then it's like the same thing as like asking for more of them to happen so that you can come to that place of gratitude, so you can come to that place of laughter. Look, this will all end in so much laughter because there's no such thing as pain. There's no such thing as pain. What we're seeing is an insane thought being played out. Now, you get the effect that it's like really bad. Oh, gosh, it's terrible. And that's where your energy, that's where your attention needs to go in letting yourself get that feeling effect. That's all. And then it will show itself. And that doesn't mean you can't show compassion. That doesn't mean you can't be compassionate. It's the opposite way around again. If you're not joining in suffering, you're there for everyone.
Right.
If you're not joining in the suffering, you're the one that's like a rock and you're there for everyone. Mm-hmm. You're able to offer assistance, you're able to offer companionship because you're not in there just in the trenches with them. It's like you can offer a helping hand to help lift people up. And that doesn't mean, you're having wisdom dialogues with them necessarily. As someone seems to be deep in suffering, it's not like, hey, but the world isn't real, you baka. It's like you're just able to.
It's all up.
Yeah, you're making it up. Quit being so sad. It's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. It's like it's only for yourself. You turn that attention in, and for yourself, you recognize what's going on, and then it's like, and then it's an energy like, how can I be of assistance here? Right. See, and then when someone's open to finding out then the sharing just happens automatically. It's not like you have to try to teach anyone anything.
Right.
See, that's really not compassionate. I had a woman, I was on a group the other day, and a woman on the group asked, what do you do for meal times? How do you deal with a picky eater and stuff like that? And I said, well, I have fun with meal times, and I think picky eaters are awesome, you know, talking about kids. And I don't choose for my kid what they eat. I just honor their apparent choices. Whatever apparent choice they make, I'm able to honor that. And then she goes, well, why do you do that? You know, kind of like, don't you care about their body and all this other stuff? So I shared a couple things with her, and then I noticed all this defensiveness come up. I noticed all this defensiveness come up about, well, I'm not pushing concepts on my kids. I'm doing it like this, and I believe this, and I believe this, and I believe this, and I believe this. And then I don't have anything else to say.
Nope. Back off.
Okay.
Back off. Yep.
Yeah, it's okay. Because no one needs to know before they're ready. No one needs to know before they're ready to know. And if there's any bit of defensiveness, to knowing the truth, no one needs to know. Okay. Everyone, let's put it this way. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone knows what they're doing. They're not screwing it up. It's impossible for them to get it wrong.
Right.
So let's go to, oh, by the way, if anyone wants to ask me any questions, I don't know if it's the best idea to do it on Facebook, because it shows that there's 18 comments here. I'm seeing 4. I don't know why that goes on, but I only see 4 of them, so I don't know where they all are. If you want to join and you see me on Facebook right now, go to that link and jump on, okay? You can be totally anonymous and write to me on there if you want, or you can talk to me, or you can come on video with me, whatever floats your boat. I do see one here on Facebook, Janelyn. Hey, Hope, can you recap what you talked about in the beginning? Was just able to join now. I have no idea what I talked about in the beginning. I have no idea. The best way to get a recap is to just watch it after I post it, because it's going on YouTube. Yeah, it's going on YouTube. So that's the best way to do that. Yeah. So one thing that came up, Lori, where'd you go? I just see a chair. Okay, that's cool. So well, one thing that came up that Lori brought up that I'll get to when Lori comes back so she can join in the conversation was, it's okay, Lori, you're allowed to leave.
I was listening. I just had to get some water. My water was empty.
Sweet. So you were talking about earlier about how a lot of people are asking you, a lot of people are coming to you and asking you, and it's like, how much of me is there to go around? See? So that's really a reflection of self-importance. So, okay? So if it seems like a lot of people want you and like you're being spread thin, in recognizing that that's a reflection of self-importance, everything just calms down. No one needs you. No one needs you. And you know, the way it is for me, I tell people, hey, you know what, if you got some kind of issue or anything like that, and you've been coming on Wisdom Dialogues and you feel like you're totally lost, pick up the phone and call me. Pick up the phone and call me.
Well, that's the thing. 3 people at the same time wanted to talk to me today. At the same time.
Yeah. So that's a reflection of self-importance, is what I'm saying.
So
yeah. Yeah. It's just it's as if there's this sense of overwhelm. See, anytime where you feel like, I can kind of hear it in the inflection in your voice. Yeah. Anytime there's a sense of overwhelm, it's really a reflection of self-importance. So it's like, if that occurred to me, which it hasn't ever, it's funny because I invite people, I say, hey, if you really have some, it takes me like 5-10 minutes with you. Right. It takes me like 5 or 10 minutes. That's why I don't charge. It takes me 5 or 10 minutes. And the other thing is that I have an interest in helping you because I love you. Okay? I have an interest in revealing what's true because I love you. I don't get that many telephone calls. It's really fun because for most people, they don't want that quick of a feeling like that. What they really want is, what they're really looking for is something that's more like that. They're really looking for this dance where a person's overwhelmed. They don't know that. but they're really looking for this kind of dance where there's this overwhelmed person and they're too much for them. That's what they're really looking for. They're not really looking for to see through the illusion. And that's what's going on there. That's why we have these kinds of energy plays go on like that. And so if that occurred for me where there is 3 people, it would more like be a funny thing. Like then, oh my God, how can I do all my, I have so much to do. How could I do all? It would more like be a funny thing, you know. It would be more like be comedy, because I know no one needs me. I know no one needs me, and no one can come into my experience without my having projected them. So Lori, look, since they're not outside of you, and you have 3 people at once that wanna talk with you, that's your projection. And that's to bring up the sense of overwhelm, because overwhelm is a habit, and that's all. And so, you know, this sense of self-importance, as if these people need you, that's how it feeds into that. And then it's like, oh my gosh, is there even enough time in the day? There's no day. There's no time. That's the thing that it comes back down to, even in that, is that this is a projection. This is a projection of my own mind, and I'm causing it right now because I want to feel like I'm overwhelmed and there's not enough of me to go around. See? Isn't that for fun?
Okay.
And what I see happen for people too, it's really funny, is, you know, I'll see people put themselves out there like that, and then the next thing you know, they got something going on Facebook about how I just need to take care of myself now. I need to put my boundaries up, and I need to take care of myself, and all this stuff. And that's all just illusions playing out. No one needs to even put any boundaries up. It's just a matter of settling back into who you are and recognize that you're projecting overwhelm for yourself. It's not that people are coming at you like that. It's not that people are coming to you. They're not being attracted to you like that. You're projecting them. See?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that for fun?
Okay, so the one that I was supposed to talk to first that I didn't get to talk to, and I'm feeling bad about that. I don't need to.
Of course, because you're not really supposed to talk to anyone. You know when you're supposed to talk with anyone if you're talking with them.
Right.
That's how you find out you were supposed to talk to them. We're obviously supposed to be talking like every Tuesday. You're obviously supposed to be like my only panelist that ever comes on every Tuesday.
And you started doing this because of me.
Apparently. But I project you too. Because what we do, what it seems like I'm helping all these people and stuff like that. You know, it's helping my mind to see clearly until I finally escape the life-death illusion. We do everything for ourselves. But you know what? There is only ourselves. So as we recognize that we're really doing everything for ourselves, as we come to recognize that, we're joining with people who can recognize that for themselves as well. We're joining with people who are really ready to undo this sense of guilt, and not people who are just playing wounds. Not people that are just playing wounds. You can't really join with them anyways. It's just like 2 projections meeting. So as long as there's this wound, that's what's attracting. That's what you could say is attracting people.
Well, the people that I am attracting are so, I keep saying they're so ready to hear it, because they're just, wow, I'm blown away by, they're not even going, like I sit here going, what? I'm not really having this pain in my leg. It's all fear. It's all illusion.
Yeah.
And I don't really go that far with them because I haven't seen through that yet.
Yeah, and you know what? Wherever you are in the seeing, it's perfect. It's perfect because the people who are coming to you, and let's say that they're ready in a sense, and also the defensiveness, the defensiveness that's coming to the surface, that's what's dancing with this sense of overwhelm that you're feeling. That's what's dancing with that. See? So it's almost like there's you're joining in some respect, and also meandering around it. Because this is a dance where you feel like you should have been talking with someone and you're not. And the sense of overwhelm because you have these 3 people contacting you. This is a dance that's going on. It's a dance of wounds. It's a wound ship. It's a wound ship dance. Ooh, there's fly. Yeah. So when you recognize that's what it is, you settle back in and you teach and learn even more that there's no self-importance. No one needs you, and your mind is healed even more, and you can share that. You can share that more clearly with everyone else too, and not have this sense like you're being pulled in all these directions or something, because it's not really occurring. Just settle back in. There's no overwhelm ever. It's not real. There's only the sense of overwhelm because it's a habit. There's nothing that can make you overwhelmed. Watch that when it plays out and you're willing to see that overwhelm is something that you're making up. Watch what happens to that feeling. It's amazing.
Definitely feeling of overwhelm today. Not just that, the camper, when the grill didn't light with the igniter, I actually stood in the kitchen and went, ah!
Good. Yep, that's it.
All by myself, just.
Yeah. See how it adds up? It's like holding a grievance. The first time you sense that something's overwhelms you, and you forget to laugh about it. You forget to laugh about that thing that seems to be overwhelming you. It adds up. You get more and more overwhelmed.
Right, and that's what happened today. I mean, the falling, all of it.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. That's how it goes. And the falling, it usually manifests as some kind of physical thing. Yep. And that's where the seeing happens. You're saying, let me see. And then you come on Wisdom Dialogues and you tell me that kind of stuff, and you don't even probably realize that there's going to be seeing, because you're just kind of like telling me a story, right? Yeah. I see that happen a lot, where you think you're just telling me a story, and it's like, oh, but it's because you wanted to see it. That's why you tell it to me.
I want to see all of it.
I know you do. I think it's awesome. I appreciate you. And I'm really stoked about what you're doing with the peeps and everything like that. And more you're going to see that they're not out there. You're going to experience, I know they're not out there, but you're going to have the experience of it, because when you have the experience of overwhelm, that's a reflection of still believing that they're out there.
Right.
That the world is out there. When you have any experience of any kind of upset feeling, that's an experience of the thought that the world is out there and not projected from you. So as you go through that feeling and recognize that it is being projected from you, you're having the experience more and more that the world is not out there, that it's being projected by you, and that's how guilt gets undone. And I'm so happy about it. I'm so happy for you.
I'm happy for you to be projecting me out here too.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's a without you, there would be no healing for me. That's the way it is. That's why, everyone that comes into your experience, apparently comes into your experience, is your projection, and you're projecting them for healing.
Yeah.
You're projecting them for undoing the guilty thought that makes a world where you come to die manifest.
Right. And God knows I want to undo all of that.
Yeah, and really everyone does. Everyone does, even when they don't know it.
Right, even when they don't know it. Well, that's
Right.
why they're looking for that love out there.
Yes. Yes, that's right. That's what the looking for love out there is all about. It's trying to get it from somewhere in the world. And once you just stop and take a look at where that's coming from, you have it. You have all the love. Okay, I saw a hand go up and then go down. So I'm happy to talk with you, but raise your hand again because I'm not sure which one of these had their hand up. So yeah, maybe it was a second. There was a second thought. No, it wasn't a mistake.
That's what I wanted to say about that first girl that you talked about. She was saying it's a pattern that she, about the men unavailable that need to love her.
Yeah.
She's looking for love outside of her when she's it.
Yeah, and she knows that. She knows that. And then still doesn't understand why she keeps on projecting the same thing over and over again. Okay, it's Janelyn. I'm going to allow her to talk. All right, you're permitted. You're talking. Hey. Did you want to come on video too, or is audio good for you?
Maybe. I don't know. I was hoping I could stay anonymous.
Oh, okay. Well, I said your name. Too late, but
it's okay.
Here we go.
We don't know.
Maybe it'll just come on camera.
Okay, how fun. You could be anonymous on camera.
Okay.
I'm promoting you to panelist. I think she's popping on any moment. See. Yep. Okay. There you are. It's
kind of dark in here.
Yeah, it's kind of dark in there. How fun. Oh, beautiful to see you.
Yes, I agree.
You too.
Hi, Janelyn.
Hi, Lori. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I feel like I have a lot of stuff that I kind of wanted to bring out. Hope, when you're speaking with me, can you get a sense of what's going on with me?
Well, I can get a sense that there's a shyness happening. A little bit of what's the word? Trepidation, maybe.
What does that mean?
Well, just a little bit of not. You want to hear from me. You want to have a conversation with me, but you're not ready to come out with it. You're not sure you're ready to come out with it, and it's okay. It's okay. Just let it bubble up how it does. It's okay. However it comes up is fine. I don't know what it is specifically.
I don't think I know either.
Okay.
Maybe I just keep on listening.
All right. Keep on listening and see if something comes up.
Okay.
And then if something comes up and you want to have a conversation with me, just raise your hand again. The other thing you can do is type in the chat.
Okay.
Even if you just want to type a couple of words, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. I love you, Janelyn. You're a sweetheart. It's nice to see you. Aloha.
Aloha.
How sweet. What a sweetheart. So lovely to have you joining, Janelyn. Thank you. Well, I'm going to take a really short break and go get my charger because it looks like I'm going to run out of batteries before this thing's over. So keep them company, Lori.
Okay. Has anybody got a chat? Phoebe, you there? I think you sent me something. Hello. I don't know if anybody's. Oh, Phoebe's not there. Holly there? Holly, you there? I don't have. I don't think there's anybody here, Hope.
Yeah, people are there. There's a bunch of people on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's all kinds of people on right now.
I'm
You got
here.
people on Facebook. You got like
Oh, Facebook.
six people on, and I'm back.
Good.
I'm back.
Good, because
I'm back, and I'd love to talk about shyness. Good thing.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever even talked about that on Wisdom Dialogues before.
Isn't it fear?
Well, sure. Embarrassment, you know. It's a sense that it's a sense that I could be seen as I really am. Arena's here. Aloha, Arena. I love you. It's a sphere of I will be seen as I really am, which is a mistake about who you are. It's a mistake about who you are. Okay. You're going to be seen as you're afraid you're going to be seen as who you think you are. You're afraid you're going to be seen for your mistaken misbelief about yourself. Okay. Aw, thank you, Janelyn. She said, I'm hitting the spot. Oh, sweetheart. Yeah. So that's all that is. That's all shyness is. And in fact, you know, when I was a kid, and I don't know if all of you might not know this, but I was a Christian missionary when I was growing up. And the way they would teach it is embarrassed means I'm bare-assed. It's like I'm afraid of you seeing me how I am. But, you know, you're not really afraid of people seeing you as you are. You're afraid of people seeing that mistaken self-belief. You're afraid of what they might say about that, what they might think about that. People can't really love me if they see me how I am. What if I say the wrong thing and expose myself how I really am? You know, and that isn't how you really are. That isn't how you really are. That's just how you think you are.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying that to people. You're not afraid of what other people think about you. You're afraid that they're thinking what you're thinking about you.
Yes, for sure. So it's just that it's just that mistake. It's just that original mistake about yourself. The thought that you separated yourself from eternity is such a guilty thought. And so it's like they can't possibly love me if they know me. It's like I have to put on this facade. I have to put on this special face for people so that they can love me. And really, you know, if you would love yourself, if you would love her, Janelyn, if you would love Janelyn, you know, could feel your love, you know, then she would be okay however she is. She would be okay whatever she is. So it's like, Janelyn, for yourself, you're not Janelyn, okay? Number one, you are not Janelyn, really. But the Janelyn that's arising in your perception is getting this projection that she's unworthy of your love. So it's like this person, Janelyn, it's like all she wants is your love. Isn't that sweet? All she wants is your love. And when that's offered to her, appreciation for her, love for her, even though she's not real, if she's rejected by you, that's making her real. And that's making her unlovable. See? In her unreality, she's perfectly lovable. She's perfectly innocent. She's perfectly lovable. She can be presented to the world because she's an extension of your love. She can be presented to the world however she happens to be, because she's not being held guilty by you. Whatever she happens to do, however she happens to be, if she says something and she gets the wrong word, she gets the word wrong, or if she I don't know, shits her pants. Let's say that one. That just came up. Say she's at a party in a really cute dress. It's white. And then she shits her pants. Can you love her still?
Yeah. Even more.
It's up to you. If Janelyn is loved, which that's just an interpretation. That's just an interpretation of how much you love yourself. How much you love yourself. How much love will you allow for yourself? Because it's like you could say, if you believe in God or source or anything like that, it's like God loves you so much, source loves you so much, spirit loves you so much, however you want to look at it is fine. The word doesn't mean anything. It loves you so much. It's just that you are saying, no, I'm not worthy of that love because I separated myself from you. I'm worthy of punishment. So this Janelyn rises in your perception, and that deserving of punishment idea is projected right onto her. It's projected right onto her. And then the ego is helping you to protect her. Keep her protected. Keep her hidden so no one sees how she really is. See? Let her just be natural. Let her just be completely natural. Let the words come out however they come out. If she gets love, it's all okay. If she doesn't get love, it's all okay too, but it doesn't feel okay. If she gets love, it feels okay. However she projects, however she manifests herself. That's entirely up to you. And embarrassment, it's not something to try to get away from. That's the other thing that's really important. You don't try to escape embarrassment. You don't try to change yourself so you're not embarrassed anymore. Embarrassment itself is the gift. It's feeling. So the embarrassment is a gift. So the feeling of embarrassment, it's like, oh yeah, there's embarrassment. What is the feeling effect of that embarrassment? And you get the feeling effect. Remember, there's no one out there. It's just you and you. It's you relating with your self-thought. So the embarrassment, when it comes up, even though it seems like there's other people out there, it's like, oh no. Let yourself to get that feeling effect and let it wash right over you. And you'll see the embarrassment smooth out. It will become nothing to you. Can you imagine yourself being bold? Can you imagine yourself being bold? Imagine yourself coming on Wisdom Dialogues and saying, hey, Hope, this is what I want to talk about right now. I want to talk about this bullshit that's been going on, or whatever it is. Can you imagine yourself with that kind of boldness? If you can, then you're opening the way for it. See? Boldness is basically self-acceptance. You could say it's self-acceptance.
Beautiful.
So hooray! Hooray for embarrassment. Yay. I love being embarrassed. That's one of my favorite things in the world. I used to go and sing karaoke just because I sucked at it. And I would get a Madonna song going, like a Virgin or something like that, and just suck the big one, And that feeling of embarrassment, I just love it. It's hot. Yeah. It's hot. It's a hot feeling.
Comes from believing in that there's a person there to be embarrassed.
Yeah. And this is before I recognized what embarrassment was even for. I didn't even recognize what it was for. I just knew it was good for me. It was really good for me. And when I first started doing Wisdom Dialogues, I first started in person, And I'd start seeing more people coming, and and I'd be projecting what they're going to think about me and feeling embarrassed already. And I loved it because it would bring up this guilty feeling, and I knew what it was for. I knew that it was for healing. So I was like, oh yes, bring on the embarrassment. I know it's really good for me. What if I make a big mistake? What if I say everything wrong? Well, good. I know it's good for me. That's okay. See? That works it out. That brings about boldness. In fact, I was nervous about doing wisdom dialogues for about the first year and a half.
Seriously?
Yeah, you probably couldn't tell, huh? I get nervous beforehand. I get really nervous beforehand, and then afterwards, I would have guilty feeling about did I say it right? But I was just persistently knowing that this is for me over and over again. I know that this is for me. We got a Bob Shine participant.
Oh. Last week was beautiful with him.
Oh, good. Bob Shine.
Hello, can you hear me? Bob Asinine. How do I retype that?
You want to be a panelist, Bob? You want to be on video?
Sure, yeah. Put me on the video.
Everyone loves to see Bob shine.
Did you get to see him when you were, did he make it?
Oh yeah, yesterday.
So he's at Michelle's now?
He is.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob.
The Titanic trio back again.
Oh, and Bob's shirtless. He came back to the warm part of town.
Woo, Bob.
Right. Yes. So I was in cool 4,000-foot Volcano Village for a year.
Yeah.
And so now I've returned to Michelle's, where Hope is doing her wisdom dialogues that I kind of helped get her launched here at Michelle's. I was Michelle's caretaker for 2 years, a couple years ago. And so, yeah, the energy shifted, and I'm back as her interim caretaker. Someone else is coming to take over sometime in early July, but for now I have a few weeks here. And so because I've been in Volcano Village, which is like a 2-hour drive away, I've maybe once since I lived there, I came to a wisdom dialogue, but now Michelle has built this exquisite pavilion. I mean, it's just like unbelievable. These pillars that have these beautiful inlaid lava rocks, and the beams are like this extraordinary stained wood that have spiral beams, and it's just like the most large, exquisite pavilion you'll ever want to see. And I like wondered, well, how can she afford this, or why did she make it so big, or this thing? It's just to see it. It's just an extraordinary thing. And then so yesterday I got to see Hope. And I realized that this was built for you.
Yay. How about
however it manifested in money or time or whatever, that your energy, your message generated this beautiful forum for you and your work. And then she's got these beautiful new chairs, brand new chairs that are really nice and exquisite. And she's got a nice carpet and cushions that she sits on, and flowers. And it was such a upgrade from when I lived there. It just used to be this tiny little deck, and the chairs were these old beat up wooden things. And now everything is just so exquisite and elegant.
Yeah.
And, she's been having problems with, thieves and people that are giving her problems. Her ex-caretaker was kind of a nightmare to her. So she's kind of a little hesitant about, we were going to have a Love Thy Neighbor gathering, and we had advertised it on Facebook, but then she was still in this drama with this caretaker, and few things weren't done with the pavilion, so we held off. But she wants to have one coming up early July, but she wants to start out more of like a local event, not so much, inviting everyone, just to kind of break into it.
Right.
So I just wanted to say what an extraordinary thing that you get to appreciate Hope and enjoy her on the webinar, but to sit with her in this new pavilion and all these, I don't know, there were like, what, 20, 25 people there, most of them, a couple of them I knew before, but all new people I'd never met. So
Lots
you
of
see.
people. Yeah, and there's lots of space for more people. That's what's exciting.
Right. Well, that's just it. That's why it's so big, because, there's so many more people. Well, there were times you had lots of people when I was there before, but I really see that pavilion is so large because your audience is going to increase. There's going to be a time when that pavilion's going to be packed, and
They're going to open it. They're going to open a road. They're going to open a road that's easier access to that area. Right now, a lot of people are driving like an hour to get there because of the lava flowing over those four corners. It's quite a trek for for people that used to be close.
Yeah, but that's how interested people are in your work, that they want to make that trip. Yeah, so then I hear that they've started work on 132, and I think they're going to be done by October. So that's coming up soon. So even that's opening up for your wisdom dialogues for more people to attend. But yeah, it was just so blessed. And then Hope had this photographer here that Tiger Singleton wants some photos for this new website that he's helping her with. And so I got to help her figure out different locations of the land.
I had a photo shoot, full-on photo shoot with outfits and everything.
Right. Yeah, she had a whole wardrobe she was changing, and
that was fun. I got on a swing, swung on a swing, and got some pictures. That was the best.
Right. So it was just, the spirit has just led me back here, because I said, last week, well, I miss Hope. And so it's just, like you were saying, everything is coming our way. We don't have to worry about, do we have enough money? Do we have enough food? Or are we going to have a place to live or whatever? No, every spirit provides if you just relax in the spirit.
Yeah, because it's like, what do you want out of this illusion besides escaping the thought of guilt? Besides escaping the thought that you separated yourself from your source, what do you want out of it? If you think you want something else out of the illusion that you're not going to get, that you're not getting, or that you have to try to get something for yourself, that's saying, I don't want to escape it. I want it to go on and on. I like dying. I want to keep on dying. I want to keep on being born so I could die. I want to get some diseases, and I like that. Everything in this illusion, whether it be money, if you think you need more money, that's a thought that leads to death. See? But if you just come back to who you are and recognize that everything that occurs in the illusion is for healing from that thought that makes the illusion occur in the first place, then everything's coming to you. Everything that you need to accomplish that is coming to you in whatever form it does. See? And that's where the gratitude comes in, and there's no fear about how things are going to go, and things can. I'm so stoked that there seems to be this huge space now over at Michelle's, and Michelle's so hospitable to me. She makes tea, and she puts some water with some herbs in it for people, and makes it a nice comfortable space for people, and it's just so sweet.
Yeah, well, she never used to really come to the wisdom dialogue. She was so preoccupied with her she gets stressed. You were just talking about you get overwhelmed, and so
I can't
she
make
was
it.
overwhelmed with so many things because she's overwhelmed with this, that, and the other thing. But now, after this episode with the bad caretaker, and you've helped her, you really helped her. She really sees the value of you and your teaching. So that's why she's really there. And she talks about how she recorded some of your dialogues here in person, and that she's like this one in particular, she says she's listened to over and over again. She gets so much from it, and she sent these to me, so I'll start listening to them too.
Oh, how fun. Yeah, they're recorded every week right now by Urba. He's recording them, and he's putting them up on this Google thing. Just connect with him. I think he tagged you in one of his posts. Anyone who wants access to those, just send me a note. I'll connect you with him or whatever page he has it on. And I'm getting some help now from Tiger. Tiger Singleton is helping me. Not only does he understand what's going on here, him and I used to do some teachings together here some years ago. But he's really technically inclined, and he amazes me at how well he can present this stuff. I just asked him you might have seen some banners go up on Facebook recently. He made those. And he's become the admin of my page. And so, all that kind of stuff, I was like, wow, there it is. Thank you. So he's putting up, he's going to take those and do something in some kind of format that's going to be easy for people to just listen to those on podcasts or something like that. I don't know how it works, but if you'd like to know where they are, just reach out to me. And for now, I'll connect you with Urba. He'll be so happy to hear from you, and he'll be so happy to hear that you'd like to listen. And you can get all of those recordings. You can get a hold of all those recordings. And I'd like to say too that when you're listening to Wisdom Dialogues, you're hearing something that's completely different from the world's thinking. And the world's thinking is how your mind has been conditioned, okay? So that's why people find when they listen over and over again, like say when you're doing chores, or maybe you're up in the night and you can't sleep, listening over and over and over again, it helps to break down that conditioning, and breaking through that conditioning, and you have your own aha moments. Because I don't have any concepts to give you, It's not like I can go, okay, this is what it is, A, B, C, and here you go. It's more like when you're listening to me with an open mind, an open heart, and you're feeling the vibration of this, because really what I'm sharing is energy, not so much words. What I'm sharing is energy. So it's like it's an extension of love. It's an extension of who we are. So as you listen more and more, and, as you're inclined, I'm not saying it should be like, oh, fuck, I got to listen to Hope, It should be like, more like, as you feel inclined, though, I encourage you to listen so that those patterns and that conditioning gets kind of like worn down, almost like weathered down. So you can come to that point where you get what I'm talking about, and you're able to make that choice for truth while that ancient pattern is playing out. And that's where you call forth the miracle, and you really break down this illusion, and you start healing from the inside out, and you start to see that everything that's coming to you is synchronistic. And that's my wish for you, and it's because I love you, and as long as you're into it, I'm so super happy to share with you. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Well, I thank you. So then one of the topics we were talking about was heaven.
Yes.
So can we, the Course in Miracles says the end of the world is not its destruction, but its translation into heaven.
Oh, yeah, because it's not here. The world that we perceive is not really here. It's a manifestation of a guilty thought. Right.
So, yeah, Gary Bernard has this book, The Disappearance of the Universe.
Mm-hmm.
He was from Maine?
Right. Yes, he was originally from Maine. Yeah. That book is fantastic, Disappearance of the Universe.
I went to see him when he was at a Unity Church up here before he wrote.
Who don't you go to see? That's what I want to know.
Well, that was way back. I was like 40 back then. And I remember saying to him, you mean if I broke my arm, it's not real? And he goes, yeah. And I'm going, what the? Back then, oh my God, I was literally just beginning all of this. But he was
I saw him at Unity Church in Honolulu.
Oh, no kidding. He wants to live. That's his dream, is to live in Hawaii.
Yeah, I guess he's got some enlightened, spiritual, gorgeous blonde wife, and yeah, I don't know the latest.
Yeah, he got rid of that unenlightened, unspiritual, ugly wife and got the spiritual, enlightened, blonde wife.
Right. That's what.
Well, he's gotten blonde too himself. He wasn't when I saw him.
Yeah. So can we, in our vantage point in this world, envision or step into heaven? Or is it that we just need to step out of this world and we're already in heaven? We never left.
You know the answer to that. I could tell by the way you said it.
Yeah.
What do you ask me for?
So it is. It's just like we're in bed asleep, and this is just a dream, and we wake up and we're in heaven. We've always been here and always will be.
Yes, it's just in finding ourselves in our mind to be unworthy of heaven. We think we don't want it. We think we don't want it. We think we want this world, and that's why there's such a push to try to improve this world, because we think we want this world. It's like heaven's kind of been erased from our memories. We don't want to know that it even is real. Heaven is like a fantasy to people, and this is and in making this the real world in our minds, heaven becomes a fantasy, like something that's far off. And really, this world is the fantasy. This world, this dream world that we find ourselves in, this is the fantasy. Heaven is reality. And, you can call it something else if heaven triggers you, because it's kind of biblical and stuff. You can call it nirvana. You can call it eternal bliss. You can call it eternal life, whatever resonates for you. But this world is made as a substitute for that, because of thinking that we're not worthy of heaven. So in thinking we're not worthy of heaven, in following the ego's guidance, we've convinced ourselves that we don't really want heaven, that we want this world. And since we think we want this world, our attention goes to trying to improve this world, which is really just projected so that we can make our way back to heaven. And when I say make our way back to heaven, I mean undo the guilty thought that makes it seem like heaven is not available to us. It only seems like it's not available to us.
So basically, you were saying before, the whole purpose of life here, it's not happiness or wealth or love or anything. It's just undoing guilt, basically.
That's right. That's right.
Because
and everything you need is coming. Everything you need to perform that function is coming.
Yes. I've been feeling my guilt becoming undone more and more every day.
Yeah, and it will become undone more and more, as you recognize that you don't have any guilt. See? You have a tendency to say my guilt. You have a tendency to say my guilt because there's this hidden belief that it is in fact your guilt, and you don't really have any guilt. It's just this sense of guilt because of a mistaken belief that you did separate yourself from eternity. And you see this mistaken thought first, the way the Course in Miracles puts it, a tiny mad thought that you separated yourself and you took it seriously. That was the only mistake, and that's the mistake that keeps on playing. It's extrapolated itself into a whole world, and it keeps on playing itself out. But you don't really have any guilt. To say that you have guilt is to say that you're flawed in some way. And it's good that you speak it out like that so that it could be shown. That I'm not saying change your language, because if you try to change your languaging, then you're not gonna. It's like you don't want to reveal it to yourself. You want to keep it hidden. It's good. It's good that that comes out like that, because then you see my guilt. Oh, there it is. And you can laugh. You don't have any guilt, of course.
Yes. Well, it's the thing is that people throughout my entire life, from childhood into recent adulthood, have been people blaming me, shaming me, guilting me, accusing me of sin, of wrongdoing, of damage, of violation, of all these kinds of things. So then
apparently there's people doing that, but you saw that in your own mind first and projected those people. It's a representation of past thought playing out. The representation of belief. Everything you perceive here is a representation of belief, which is basically past thought playing out, which means you saw it in your mind first, and then you couldn't undo it in your mind. You couldn't undo it without a manifestation of it. So you've given yourself a manifestation. You've given yourself a manifestation of people saying that, Bob, you're guilty, you're wrong, you're bad. Okay? You gave that to yourself. So there's not people telling you that. And that's really a big part of it. When you recognize there's actually not people telling you that you're guilty. There's only the appearance of people telling you guilty. That's self-talk. It's all self-talk. Whatever someone else is saying to you, self-talk. That's all. See? That's why you can heal it. That's how you have dominion over it. I would love for you to remain anonymous too, so I won't say your name. I won't say your name. I would love for you to remain anonymous. So type whatever you want, and I'll never speak your name. Yay. If you tell me that first, that's how it works. Someone's writing to me right now. Okay, here's another one. Is there time in the real world? No, time is an illusion. There's not time. Time has a very important function. Time is a very, very important function. And, you know, it is to be appreciated, because in time, that's how healing that thought, that misbelief that there actually has been a separation. There has not been a separation. Let me just clarify that again and again. There has not been an actual separation. And time, the illusion of time, is for undoing that, is for revealing that there actually has not been a separation. And in the revelation that there actually is not, the real revelation where it's totally, all of that guilt has been cleared from the mind, you are going to be so surprised and so relieved that you didn't really throw away what you thought you threw away. You didn't really throw it away. You can't, because it's part of you. It's an extension of you. There's no way you can throw it away. But, you know, that you can make yourself believe that you threw it away and live as if you threw it away is self-evident, isn't it? Yay. In time, all will be revealed, and that's the end of time, forever.
Great. Thank you.
What else is there? Yay.
That's right. That's all there is. So we can just rest in that.
Rest in and as. Okay, I see something on Q&A. Oh, here it is. I would like to remain anonymous. Okay, good. Well, all right. Well, I'm glad I saw this one. The Q&As I don't see so often. It's the chat that I see. No one else sees you on the chat besides panelists, and my panelists are pretty cool. They're not going to say your name. I would like to remain anonymous. Okay, we got that part. How do you recognize you don't want to be around someone who seems to be mean or abusive without projecting? How do you recognize without projecting that they are that way? Okay, how do you recognize you don't want to be around them? Well, here's one thing that's really big. You are not capable of wanting or not wanting. Okay, that's an illusion. You're not capable of wanting or not wanting. If they are in front of you in that moment, if they are before you in that moment, you want that. You want that, and you want it for healing. You want it for healing right now. You have no choice in whether you're with them in the next moment. How do you know if you're supposed to be with them? You're with them. That's how you know. You have no choice what's going to go down in the next moment. As soon as you identify with that which wants or doesn't want, as soon as you identify like that, it makes it into something that's difficult, makes it into something that's confusing for you, okay? So there's that. that there is another person. Yeah, there's not another person. It's you relating with you. It's you relating with you. You want what you get. You always want what you get. If you think you don't want what you get, that's a thought that's passing. That's a thought. That's ego thought. Okay? Even if you think you want it. Even if I want it, I don't want it. I want it, I don't want it. See? They're opposites. None of those opposites apply to you. Whoever happens to be before you in this instant is who's tailor-made for you to heal from the thought that you separated yourself, okay? Do you just find yourself moving away from it without creating a story? Yeah. And you know what? The story isn't true. That's what's so funny. That's what's so funny. Because the story isn't even true. It's like, yeah, I find that all the time. Like if someone is in my experience, if someone is in my experience and they seem like they want to play wounds out or something like that, and I get this aversion, don't want them around, immediately I'm going back into my body's energy field and looking at what kind of aversion I have to myself, because that's all it is. That aversion is self-aversion. I'm having an aversion to who I think I am. I'm not really having an aversion to who I really am, because I'm so great that there wouldn't be an aversion to me. But I'm having an aversion to who I think I am, okay? Yes, I just find myself, and I know that the story isn't true. Why did you stop hanging out with that guy? Oh, well, he was acting like an asshole and stuff like that, And as soon as I hear myself saying that, it's like, oh, that's not true. As soon as I hear myself saying that in my mind, I haven't heard myself say anything like that out loud in a while, because I just know once it occurs in my mind, it always occurs in your mind first before you speak it out your mouth. So I know when it occurs in my mind, I can laugh at it. It's funny. If I forget to laugh, then it becomes a story that I have to tell other people. And people say, why'd you move away from, why'd you do that? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? No reason. All those reasons are for the ego. They make no sense. They're only for stories. It's fine to tell the story as long as you don't believe it, okay? It's fun to tell stories. Just don't believe in it. Having an interesting time navigating between okay, look, you don't need to navigate between the material and spiritual worlds, because the material world is not. And they'll never reconcile. They'll never be reconciled. Don't try to reconcile the material and spiritual world, okay? There's only the spiritual world, and the material world is for only, and this is where the confusion comes in, only for undoing the thought that made it. That's all the material world is for, okay? So if you think you need to navigate the material world at all, you're missing what it's for. You're missing what it's for in that instant. In that case, go back to your body's energy field once again. Just stay there. Screw it. Just stay there. You find yourself self-focusing on the material world and as if it's real. It's just like, that's right. That's right. What's it for? What's my function here? And it's not a thing. It's just not a thing. Hope, why do you want them? Hope, why do you do liver cleanse? Why do you do 4 liver cleanse in a row? Why, that seems pretty major. How do you do, what drives you to do that? And it's like, I don't have a choice in that. I have no choice in that. It seems like I have a choice in it, but I know I have no choice in it. It's an illusion playing out, making it look as if I'm a doer. And now maybe it'll make it look as if I need to keep this up for some reason. I need to keep on going or something. The motivation toward doing anything comes from the motivation for healing. That's all. However it manifests is not. It doesn't matter. Oh, why did you change hairdressers? Same. Oh, it seemed like that guy screwed up my hair. Why did it seem like he screwed up your hair? Because our healing function was done there. And it was time for me to serve a healing function with another hairdresser. Another person in the role of hairdresser, okay? Nothing really happened. Nothing happened. All right. Is it really a mistake to believe in the separation, or is it a game? Is it possible that I made the choice to forget because the game of revenge? No, that's not it. No, okay, here's the thing. It seems like because of forgetting, because of forgetting the real world. Okay, the real world is. I keep on getting visions of it, but I'm not gonna try to share the vision with you. And I'm not going to try to share the vision with you because it just can be interpreted all these different ways. But the real world is so ecstatically blissful. The real world is so ecstatically blissful that no one in their right mind would leave it because thinking that something else would be fun. No one in their right mind. Okay, so it's an insane thought. It's an insane thought that said you're unworthy of it. Okay, yes, it is joyous. It is joyous. Returning is joyous. Joy returns to you. It is a blissful thing, returning. But it's nothing like being there. Nothing. It pales so much in comparison, you know. And that's another one of the ego tricks. Is like it's this idea that we left reality because we were freaking bored and we wanted to have an experience where we left it and we came back to it. No, we didn't want to have an experience where we left it and came back to it. We did not want that at all. We did not want to leave it. We thought we left it and we were so devastated. We were so freaking devastated that we manifested this world to try to make a substitute for it. So that's the thing. If you take it like that, if you take it like that, this is a game, then that's how you're following the advice of the ego to make this go on and on and on. Okay, so why did we leave then? Is the next question. We didn't. We did not leave. You cannot leave. You cannot leave because the real world is an extension of who you are. There's no leaving it. There's only imagining that you did. In the imagining that you cut yourself off, there's so much guilt and there's so much fear of punishment. There's all these veils that go up. It seems like you cannot return. So the return happens through manifestation and through seeing the effects of that, feeling the effects of that. Why did we imagine that? Okay, it's a tiny, back to, I love the way the Course in Miracles puts it, a tiny mad thought. A tiny mad thought. First, there's the desire to be special. There's a desire to be special, okay? Because God's love is universal. God's love is universal. And it's like in this world, it's like there's this desire to be special, like to have someone that gives us special love, right? That's what this world is for, to experience special love. You know, it also includes special hate. You know, because there's everything has its opposite. Everything has its opposite. You could say God, spirit, whatever, doesn't do special love. So in wanting to be special, there's this tiny mad idea that you separated yourself and forgot to laugh at that idea. See? It's just like a little mistake that extrapolates into a huge mistake. And you know, by the way, these kinds of questions, this kind of questioning, this why did we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we do this? It's also a distraction. It's also a distraction from the work at hand. From the work at hand right now, which is undoing guilty consciousness. Undoing guilty consciousness. See? It's like, well then why did we do it? Well then what then, you know, like who are we to do it? You know, all these questions are coming from the ego. All these questions are coming like that, and it's a distraction. You know, it's not bad or wrong that you're asking me them right now, but you know, I'd like to point out that these are being projected so that they can distract away from the task at hand, which is what you really want, is to return to sanity. Basically, you haven't gone anywhere. It's just that there was a tiny insane thought that was taken as true and is still projected as true. And that's causing this insanity, and this world is based on insanity. So we are having our mind restored to sanity. Okay? Why do you believe the things you do? there's no choice in that. There's no choice in what you believe. There's another thing. Okay? There's no choice in what you believe. It's just that whenever there's a thought projection, arises, if there's willingness to see what it is, gradually the guilt gets removed from the mind and you start to see more and more who you are. Where did the desire to be special arise from? You know, okay, the desire to be special arises from the mind, just like anything like that. You can say it's curiosity. You can say it's just curiosity. But when the idea comes that you can be special, you can take the parallel story, the Garden of Eden, where there's a snake, right? There's a snake in the Garden of Eden and says, hey, you can be a knower of these things of good and evil. And it's like, oh, and taking a bite of the apple, taking a bite of that knowledge. It's like this knowledge, it's this special knowledge, okay? You take a bite of this special knowledge, and then all of a sudden it seems like God is kicking you out of the Garden of Eden, you know? And now God's saying, well, you know what? Now you have to go, now you have to work. Now there's thorns on the ground. Your wife's going to hate you. She's going to have all kinds of pain in childbirth. Your sons are going to be fighting. You know, all these different things are going to arise from this desire to be special. See? And so they thought that God kicked them out of the Garden of Eden. That was the story. That's how the story went down in the Bible even. But they really just thought that they were kicked out, and they weren't kicked out. They just imagined that they were shameful. Notice in the story, you know, they were naked. They were naked, and they were totally innocent as naked beings in the Garden of Eden. And when they felt that guilt, they covered themselves. They didn't want God to see them. You know, that's another form of embarrassment. They covered themselves up because they felt ashamed. See? And that's what this world is, kind of like a covering, because we feel ashamed. It's covering ourselves up because we feel ashamed. Okay? So were there other thoughts before that tiny mad thought? And this is from the other Lori. Okay, so all thoughts in the real world. Okay, the real world. There's still thoughts in the real world, but there's not thought projections. Okay, here's the difference. Thought projection is projected outside of the mind because it doesn't resonate with who you are. It's projected outside of the mind, just like this world. Cannot be contained in the mind. That's why it's a thought projection. The thoughts that are like you are the thoughts that are used to create in the real world. And your creation is still intact in the real world. You won't even believe it. You will be so stoked. You will be so stoked and surprised at what it is. Really surprised. Those thoughts are what's used for creation. They're like you. They're like God, spirit, whatever you want to call that. And they're not like the ego. Okay. Yes, made up duality. That's right. Made up, make believe duality. So yeah, and there still are thoughts, and there still are thoughts before that tiny mad thought. And those thoughts you're still creating, even as you're perceiving this world you're making up. You're still creating in the real world, and your creation is completely intact and held for you. And it cannot be tarnished by this world or anything you perceive yourself to be in this world. Okay? Those thoughts that resonate with who you really are creative thoughts. Thoughts that do not resonate with who you are destructive thoughts, you could say. Only they can't destroy anything real. They could just make up this illusion where things get destroyed. People are born to die, basically. Is the Garden of Eden from the Old Testament? Yes, it's one of the first stories. Oh, it's okay, Lori. You could sit there and fall asleep. I'll listen to this more. I've done it before. Or you can just take off. It's all good. You can listen later, and I'm probably going to shut off pretty soon anyways, because it's just that I have all these great questions coming in.
They just keep coming. I can't do it.
They keep on coming, and you know I get stoked. Okay. So
I'll catch it on the replay. Okay.
I love you.
Love you.
Thanks.
Aloha, Lori.
Bye, Bob.
See you soon.
All right, so I'm shutting down now. We're after 5 o'clock, and I'll be back again this next Tuesday and every Tuesday. I don't plan to take any breaks anytime soon. Who knows? I might pop on in between them. Then if there's interest and people want to have some more wisdom dialogues, you know I get stoked about it. Yeah. So anyways, every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Hawaii time, to watch the videos, go to wisdomdialogues.org. That'll pop you right into my YouTube page. Also, hopejohnson.org is my newest website. My good friend Tiger Singleton told me that my website totally sucks. And it's so funny because I was like feeling so stoked about it because I thought that it was great. And he's like, I can't send anyone there. And I'm like, you're embarrassed about it. He's like, yeah. So that's gonna be changing. But I still think that it's got some great information on it if you want to go to it. And you can tell me what you think of it. I'm happy to hear that. hopejohnson.org. You can also find out about my new book, Unschooling for Parents. You don't have to be a parent to enjoy it. It's a really fun book, easy read. Got pictures of me and my family in it, which is also makes it also super fun. You can get that on Amazon, but if you go to my website, hopejohnson.org, you get a good link to just go right there and pick it up. You could also join my mailing list that's going to start getting active pretty soon. It's really fun. It's super fun to have you join. Also, I'm the founder of Miracle Botanicals. I'm playing around with my rosemary verbenon right now. This line of hydrosols is a new thing that we added. They're really refreshing. They are a byproduct of making essential oils through steam distillation. Currently, we have this lovely rosemary, and we also have, and it's from South Africa. I love this rosemary. Verbenon is a chemotype of rosemary that's gentler than the regular one. So it's good around, like, I don't know, babies and stuff. I've been just spraying it on because it's really hot here. And it seems like the flies do go away from it, huh? Yeah, it seems like they do go away from it. So that's fun. You can look at that, miraclebotanicals.com. Check us out. Also, just for my peeps, so you know, there's going to be a sale coming up this week. Yeah, so you know, you could go on there and look around and enter your name in the mailing list, and you will get notified of the sale. I don't know what the percentage off is going to be because my daughter is the manager, but she usually does some pretty good percent off. So check that out if you are so inclined. And I will be back next week. And until then, have a beautiful, beautiful week. I love you so much. Aloha and a hui ho! Hooray!